We're back at the ECGZ garage, and I've been working my buns off the last couple of days trying to get all the little things taken care of on the new acquisition here. Just got a long list of parts. Went online and ordered up a bunch of stuff, but she's revealing her aches and pains, and I thought I'd give you a rundown of what I found. And have to do this by memory. I should have taken some notes, but these carburetors were a total mess, and I couldn't figure out how to get the darn things off. I was going to try a different set of carburetors, and there's an equalizer tube on the back side of this. Can't see it from here, and I couldn't see it laying underneath it hardly. I thought maybe it was just an old hard hose, but it is welded into the tank. So I removed it from these 2 points and took the throttle body and the top off, and that way I was able to work on it. The air cleaners, this is not an air cleaner, this is just a foam pre-filter. The air cleaners were just done, so I got those on order, but I wanted to drive it around in the street a little bit, so I figured I'd keep the chunks out. And let's see, this whole fuel system was messed up. They have an electric fuel pump on it that was putting out 10 pounds, and Volkswagen fuel level is usually around 3.5, so I put a regulator in, and you remember on the other videos how the fuel lines were all shot, replaced all that, and let's see, the float gasket on the top of one was completely disintegrated. It had been leaking because of that high fuel pressure. It's amazing this thing didn't explode. I can't believe it. Maybe it was parked and that fuel line was cracked, but that part wasn't leaking. The carbs just kept dribbling, and that's probably why it wouldn't run right, because the float wasn't shutting it down, and it was dribbling into the carburetor and running rough. On high RPM, it would use the fuel up, but they were synchronized pretty well. Okay, let's see, let's go on to something else. This wheel angle here that I had mentioned earlier, improved that. The axle nut was loose and the drum splines were just gone. I went out to the pile, got another one of those, put that on. That worked good. The brake master cylinder, the guy told me that needed replaces, and it basically had no brakes, but I adjusted all the wheels, and when I took that one drum off, it looked real good inside there. And let's see, I don't have my flashlight as usual, but let's see if it's on the workbench here. Nope, took it inside. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Don't you love it how we're all just so prepared? This is still a mess down there. What they've done is the brake reservoir is up in the trunk, which is nice for filling it, keeping it topped off, and that was completely empty. And I don't know, maybe I can get the camera down there. What happened is it's like a coupling from the reservoir, and it was just leaking like crazy. I got to get to the car wash and hose this thing down, but I'm not sure. Mostly I think it was those rotten hoses that were leaking. I may not have that completely cured. The steering felt sloppy tight. You could see some of the garbage, the dirt buildup. Of course, you know, it's an old car, it's a Baja, so it's been used out in the dirt. Steering box may need to be replaced. I had to adjust that almost a quarter of a turn on center. I thought it was the tie rod ends that were loose, but it wasn't that. Let's see, what else did I find? I took it for a test drive last night in the dark, and useless to bring the camera along. So I'm about 10 miles from home, being kind of bold actually, and the generator light came on the dash, so I thought, uh-oh, something happened to the fan belt or the generator, and I'm driving with lights, so I better pull over and check it out. And having spent some time in the sand dunes and having similar things happen, the generator brush right here. I tapped on the top of it while it was running, and the light went out. So that brush is completely wore out, and those are really cheap and they're easy to get. And I know I have a set around here. I don't know where I bought them, but I think they were like $5 or something for a pair of carbon brushes, and I'll have to replace those. And let's see, tighten up the fan belt, change the oil on the transmission, the engine. Transmission is really working out really well. That cable, there's a what am I trying to say here? The cable goes into a tube, and the tube is attached to a couple places inside the tunnel, and one of those is broken. I can hear it. It's operating okay, but that's going to need some attention. And it's amazing, you know, I changed the oil and I've been driving it around, and it's not really dripping, it's not flowing out. I may have a broken motor mount, but I decided rather than take the motor out, because I know myself, I'll start tearing into that darn thing, and then I'll be spending big bucks because I'm never satisfied. And I found a gold nugget, man. This is a AS21 case, and I told you it was a 75, and because it was fuel injected, they never put a hole over here for a fuel pump. And I was thinking about getting rid of that 10-pound fuel pump, but it's like, oh crap, there's no hole to put a stock one in. I got stock ones laying all over. But so anyhow, I had the regulator. That worked out. Let's see. Gosh. Then the next thing that happened in the dark is no brake lights, no turn signals. Car was running fine, headlights worked, but got to poking around, and that turned out to be something in the original turn signal flashing unit. I threw an old piece of carpet in there. I'm not going to carry the spare tire around. Have this old Pepsi box, and you know, you got to go out on these adventures prepared. So I got some extra oil and some tools and some extra gas. Gas gauge doesn't work, of course, but heater's working great. You know, don't let anybody tell you that a Volkswagen heater don't work. Try that sucker in July or August, and I guarantee she'll be throwing out heat. I've been dropping the tire pressure. The centers are a little worn, and I'm down to, I think, 15 pounds on the rear. I'm not so sure you couldn't go further, but I'm just going to go a little at a time, and I think I've got, that looks a little too low on the front. I put 15 in that. I may go up. But it did soften up some of the ride. And, you know, I've never mixed tires before, bias ply and radial tires, but it drives okay. Front shocks are probably too stiff, and the rear shocks might as well not even have any. They're pretty loose. There's something in there, but it definitely needs a little stiffer shock. I'll probably go with some KYB gas adjust in the white model. They're pretty firm. Let's see. Just fiddled around with the wiring under the dash, and the turn signal brake lights started working again. I got to get a new lens. This thing's all faded out on this side, but I'm going to drive it this way. And I did clean up. I use this stuff called 303 Aerospace. I don't know if you guys have ever used this product before. Oh, can't see it that way. Here we go. It's kind of like Armor All. It does make it. I wiped down all the plastic and vinyl. It doesn't make it as slippery. Christ, you'd fall out of the car if it was Armor All. But it cleaned up and put a little color back in and everything. And I took the back seat out, and I even went over the entire headliner with that, because it feels like it's kind of a vinyl material. Somebody replaced headliner in this thing. I'm tickled to death with that. and it looks like we're gonna get some rain later. And yeah, it's steering better now, it's stopping better, it's starting better, and it's got a new windshield on it. There's no chips and stuff in that, so I'm enjoying it. Windshield wipers work. Anyhow, just a quick update on everything, what I've been doing, and if I have to dig into it deeper, I'll try to get the camera going. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying all the comments, you guys, and support you're giving me. Thank you so much. This is a fun project. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it as much as I am, and I'll keep you posted. I gotta go over and get me a haircut here before it gets crowded, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching and everything you do.